think a lot of these Brazilian fighters are annoyed or disappointed or upset with you because you have taken shots at their home country. You said that stuff, I believe...
Errol, I got to cut you off right there. That's an accident. And I do feel bad about that. And if I could somehow set that straight on your show, let me. But you have to understand, if I say something in a very private manner that isn't intended for a certain audience, yeah, come on, you can't hold that against me. I picked my medium very carefully when I talked about Brazil. I went to the internet. And if I had the foggiest idea that they had computers in Brazil, I wouldn't have done that. I really didn't know. I was in Las Vegas when the Nogueira brothers first touched down in America. There was a bus this is a true story. There was a bus that pulled up to a red light, and Little Nog tried to feed it a carrot while Big Nog was petting it. He thought it was a horse. This really happened. Do you believe me that that happened?
Not really.
He tried to feed a bus a carrot. And now you're telling me that country has computers? I didn't know that. I did not know that.
When's the last time you went to Brazil?
I was just there.
Right. Did you receive any heat for your comments?
No, of course not. They love me in Brazil. Here's Vanderlei's problem. Vanderlei left Brazil, didn't he? He doesn't live in Brazil. He tries to claim Brazil, but he lives in Las Vegas. He tries to claim Brazil, but a North American company made him a millionaire. He claims he loves Brazil, but he put his kids into an American school system. Lives in Brazil, lives in America, employs Americans, pays taxes in America, and then when it's convenient, claims Brazil. When it's convenient, when he's got Joe Flip phone, all of a sudden he doesn't even speak English. He only speaks this mumbled English where you got to put subtitles. Well, he runs a business. He speaks just fine English when you walk in his door and he shakes your hand and says, thanks for coming. These guys are phonies. And the Brazilian people know that. The Brazilian people don't want him. They know he left them. They know he abandoned them. They want me because I outed him, I shut him up, and I went to their country. I love their country, and I spent money in their country, and that's a lot more than Vanderlei Silva can claim.
So who do you want next?
I want an easy fight. Anderson Silva, Vanderlei Silva. Either of the Silvas. Bigfoot Silva. They all suck. Give me a Silva.
You say you want an easy opponent next, and any of the Silvas will do. Vanderlei, Bigfoot, Anderson Silva. And since you last fought Anderson, even though you almost beat him, he's still considered by most the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
The best what?
Pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
All right, hold on. I'm sorry, you can finish your thought in a second. You know what drives me insane lately? Everybody's talking about this pound-for-pound thing. Who are the best pound-for-pound fighters? Guess what? There's no such thing. There's no pound-for-pound tournament. There's no championship called pound-for-pound. There's no belt. There's no organization. There is no such thing as pound-for-pound. That's a new topic. I turn on a show, it doesn't matter what the sports channel is, there's a pound-for-pound list. Well, guess what? It doesn't exist. They got a guy named Jose Aldo, who, for some odd reason, has got the whole world to now call him Jose Aldo, ranked number 3 pound-for-pound. Jose Aldo, 3 pound-for-pound. They anointed him UFC champion. He never fought in the UFC, and he was the UFC champion. The only thing more absurd than that is the night they woke Matt Hughes up and informed him he was the world champion. It is ridiculous. There's no such thing as pound for pound. There's not. It's this mythical thought, and the people that sit around and attempt to create a pound for pound list are one step away from the same people that sit around and discuss the different possible integers as to why Batman could beat Superman. It's impossible to know. It's a ridiculous topic. Well, this guy in his prime versus this guy in his prime. Nobody gets out of their prime. They just suck. Nobody passes their prime. They just can't beat the next generation. And most of them never could in the first place. How long were we told that Mike Tyson was the baddest guy in the world? All along, Evander Holyfield was there though, wasn't he? And he wouldn't fight him. When he finally did, he got destroyed. So I guess Evander's the best, isn't he? Wrong. Because Lennox Lewis was there the whole whole time, and Evander wouldn't fight him. These guys all hide. They all duck and dodge. Anderson Silva, who I think I heard you mention is pound for pound, whatever that means, best, ducked me for 6 years. Have you heard the things I say about him? Those are fighting words. Those are fighting words from the time I was a kid in the 3rd grade through the time I'm a 30-year-old man right now. If somebody says that about you, you must fight him. And he ducked me for 6 years. Yushin Okami beat him, and he ducked him. Paulo Filho beat him in practice, so he ducked him. Lyoto Machida beat him in practice, so he became good friends with him and won't fight him. These guys are phony, and so's your pound for pound list. What was your question?
Well, I was going to ask you, now that you bring it up, if you would have beaten Anderson, a lot of people would have considered you the best pound for pound.
If I would have beat Anderson? If I would have beat... Did you watch that fight? In what parallel universe can you punch a man 300 times? He wraps his legs around your head for 8 seconds and they declare him the winner. In my hometown, on the streets of Westland, Oregon, if you lay on your back with your legs wrapped around a man's head for 8 seconds, that does not make you a winner. That makes not a winner.
What do you make of this whole Steven Seagal influence, especially with Machida and Anderson? Are you believing this story that he's teaching them these moves?
Lyoto Machida is in by far the easiest weight class in the history of combat sports, okay? What short-term memories we have. If I would have come to you 4 years ago and told you a karate guy is going to rule the UFC, you would have told me I was ridiculous. If I told you a karate guy with a disgruntled, has-been, never was that good, B-level actor in his corner is going to headline a UFC, you would have told me I was ridiculous. You would have said maybe in Japan where it's not real, but not here. Okay? He gets away with it, and not because he's good, but because that division is that bad. That's the truth. As far as Anderson goes, yeah, you know, I guess he sees his career coming to an end. He wants to get in a couple of movies that are going to play at 2 a.m. with a voiceover. So he befriends Steven Seagal. I don't really get what the big deal is. I don't see what's so neat about it. You know, he stands on one foot, he kicks a guy with one leg. Joe Rogan goes bananas, but that doesn't mean that that's a hard move to pull off.
Is George St. Pierre boring?
No, he's fantastic.
So you're not buying this that he's playing it safe? And
No, well, here's what you got to understand. 25 minutes is too long. Period. There's nothing in the world I want to do for 25 minutes. I don't want to listen to my favorite song for 25 minutes. I like chocolate cake. I do not want to eat chocolate cake for 25 minutes. I want to eat it for 2 to 3 minutes and move on with my day. 25 minutes is too long, and if you put him in that environment, he must do what he must do to preserve energy to get through that situation. George St. Pierre has been plenty of 15-minute fights, and they were fantastic to watch. And as far as playing it safe, yeah, I don't think that's an insult. It's not as pleasing to watch as it could be, but I don't know if that's an insult to him.
Your new buddy, Yushin Okami, is fighting Anderson. You think he'll win?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Yushin Okami's the real deal. Look, they fought before and Yushin won. Yeah. You know, people love to say disqualification. Well, guess what? Disqualification's a win. Okay? And another thing, Ariel, you telling me Anderson Silva didn't know he was cheating before he cheated? Anderson did not like the way that fight's going. He tried to get himself disqualified. I fought his buddy Paulo Filho, tried the same thing. He knew I didn't know you could do that. Well, sure you did, Anderson. This isn't an LA riot. It's a cage fight. You knew the rules. You know exactly what you're doing, and you knew if you did that, you'd get disqualified. And you did. And in 5 years, he's never tried to get a rematch. In 5 years, Anderson's never tried to rectify that loss. In 5 years, he ducked Yushin Okami. Now he's got to fight him. He didn't want to fight him here. He tried to say, you're not the #1 contender, I'm not going to fight you. And Dana said, you are going to fight him. Anderson doesn't want this fight. He didn't want it the night he had him. He cheated that one night to get disqualified. He lost, and he's going to lose again.
Will you be in Brazil with Yushin when he fights Anderson?
Do you remember when I said he fed the bus a carrot?
I do.
Were you even listening? Is this thing on? Is this on? And then the other one was petting the bus, saying, whoa, big fella. He thought it was a horse. And now you're telling me they have computers in Brazil? That's crazy to me. What was your question?
Will you be in Brazil with Yushin when he fights Anderson?
Absolutely. Of course. Wouldn't miss it.
Thanks for the time.
It's a pleasure.
It's good to see you.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you remember when I said horse a minute ago? But it was actually a bus, and both the
Yes.
You remember that?
I do.
They truly have computers. I really didn't know that.